Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. I have been trying really hard not to feature all the battleships again, but there's a question that I needed answering. And because I've been playing the Lyon quite a bit, and I'm still grinding up towards tier 8, and while she's kind of fun, she's also sometimes kind of not. So I was really asking myself, and a lot of you have been asking the question, are the French battleships worth it? So I figured before I waste my time, efforts, and blueprints, because that's the one thing I'm always short on, I'm going to explore that actually beforehand to make sure, because the Bretagne was terrible, the Normandy was meh, the Lyon I think is kind of okay. Do we actually get something really, really good at tier 8? Because at tier 8, the French premium battleship, the Richelieu, is one of my absolute favorite ships in the game. Now, so I figured, let's have a look at her sister, at the Gascogne. And right off the bat, there might be something that you're noticing here, which is a bit different. The Gascogne has two quadruple turrets, but one of them's in the rear. It looks like somebody took two cars, chopped them half in the middle, and put the front ones onto each other. What gives? I mean, we have the Richelieu, we have the Jean Bart, and now we have this thing. So the French, when they were designing the Richelieu class, and this is a Richelieu class battleship, when they were designing the Richelieu class, they were under a little bit of pressure because they had built the what's her name? The tier 6 one, the premium one, I forgot. You know what I mean, right? The mini Richelieu. Dunkirk, that one. And in order to counter the Deutschland class from the Germans, which then scared the Italians into building the Vittorio Veneto, which is kind of Roma style things, which then scared the French into building this thing, the Richelieus. So they were a little bit under pressure to get that done. And the easiest and quickest way they could think of was to, just take the Dunkirk and inflate it. So they made it bigger. And that's how we ended up with these things. And they built two initially. But then the Germans were building the Bismarck and the Tirpitz. And the French were once again, like, crap, we need to counter that. So they looked again at the designs and figured, okay, the Richelieu design, the initial Richelieu design, has a couple of drawbacks. For example, the secondaries can't fire forwards, and the main guns can't fire rearwards, which is occasionally a bit of a problem. It's like because the secondaries historically were used or designed to do things like defend the battleship against destroyers, and it is beneficial for them to actually be able to do that if the destroyer is not behind the ship. So they figured, okay, everybody else is building their battleships in a more balanced layout, so why don't we do that too? And that's how they came up with I think the third, and I'm not sure, there are four of them. So it's the two that were not constructed, I think, are the Gascogne and the Clemenceau, I think. But I don't know if the Clemenceau was the same design as the Gascogne here. But anyway, this is a more traditional battleship design, or a more balanced design, where we have the one turret forward, one turret aft, and the secondaries, the 150mm secondaries, like you see these little bigger turrets here, are actually centerline mounted and super firing forward. So if you look at the ship from the front, and that's why I was choosing this as the thumbnail, you can actually fire, well, two of the three secondaries straight up forward because they are super firing. So this is a really curious layout. All right. As I mentioned, she wasn't completed because, the Germans happened. so no, this didn't really happen. Okay, what do we have here? Tier 8. Now, Lyon, tier 7, lots of guns. Fewer guns, tier 8. We have, as expected, not a grand amount of armor, and fire flooding resistance is on the low end as well. I mean, these aren't ships you get for their tanking ability, right? She is proper quick though, with over 30 knots, and I'm assuming we're going to get an engine boost here as well. The maneuverability is good, and these are, I think, at least on paper, exactly the same guns as on the Richelieu, only that one's pointing rearwards and one's pointing forwards. The secondaries, again, same story here, 152mm secondaries. These were actually meant to be dual-purpose guns, but I don't think they ever got that to work reliably. We got 3 triples with somewhat low reload time. These are, but coincidentally, these should be the same guns that you find on things like the Galissonière as secondaries here. Yeah, so good range, but slightly slow reload, and she does get the 100mm auto secondaries, which presumably are AA guns, and they have a very short range, only with just over 4 kilometers. The AA is not bad. It's not. I think it's not as good as on the Richelieu, but it's not terrible. And ship skill wise, yes, we do get the engine accelerator, and we get the rapid reload. So it starts getting interesting. French firepower. Hurl the baguettes. Elite bonus. Yeah, that's one thing I need to mention, actually. Torpedo damage reduction, really nobody cares, but 6% main battery reload time with no downsides. Yes, please, sign me up. Because with that means we can actually use the main battery mod 3 in slot 1, the same as I've done on the Richelieu. Now, if you're coming like me from the Richelieu and you're playing this ship, you'll have a devil of a time to get her to work, because she plays very differently from the Richelieu because of the gun layout. And we'll get to some more practical details a little bit later. But I have the exact same layout as I have on the Richelieu. I do have the deck protection mod in slot 2 instead of the propulsion mod. I know that the propulsion mod is a popular choice, especially for something as quick as a French battleship. But my gosh, she gets it on fire. So this is something that I'm just happier with overall. Also because I think she has not quite the same AA as the Richelieu. So yeah. And steering in 3 is kind of the direction you want to go with this. Now, I don't have the master reloader skill on this, because this is a tier 8 battleship and this is a tier 10 skill, so I wouldn't expect somebody who is playing up the tech tree to be there quite yet at this point. That's what I'm kind of more basing it on. So we've got underwater protection, torpedo alert, artillery maintenance, and victorious charge, standard battleship stuff. I do have fire supremacy to get an additional rapid reload, because she just comes with 2, I think, out of the box. And I have the general skill over here, the fully prepared over there, because that's all that makes sense. And the extinguisher is something I kind of enjoy. Although, the way I'm playing her, Adrenaline Rush would probably not be a bad choice either. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. The Close Quarters Combat Expert is a good choice, I think, for this ship, because she does get both the big secondaries and the auto secondaries. And they have, while they're not the super fast on reload, they do have a decent range on the secondaries. And they are interestingly positioned, because in the Richelieu, you only ever get to use your secondaries when you're running away from stuff, which doesn't happen very often. I mean, if you get outflanked by a destroyer, you run away and then blast them with the secondaries. With this thing, it's slightly different, because 2/3 of the secondary firepower is actually forward mounted. So you can actually use these quite a bit more than I felt I could on the Richelieu. What else? And yeah, obviously you want APCS and all these other skills going down, and the Master Reloader is a skill that we'll be looking forward to. Now, camo-wise, obviously don't have the historical camo in here, but it's no surprise, it's standard battleship set. There is the Republic camo, which I'm not usually a fan of custom camos, and she does look kind of a little bit silly with all the draping in front of her, I find, at least. But this has some interesting implications here, because it gives us hit points, range, AA range, and secondary range. So this is a full-on range camo. Personally, I'd prefer, I mean, not just for taste, but I prefer the dispersion, to be honest, because One thing these French guns have in common, and that's also also an item on the Richelieu, is they are not terribly precise. They do tend to they're a bit of shotguns really. So while this is an interesting setup, I probably would stick with the historical. All right, but for purposes of this, we are just going to stick the regular seaborne assault onto this thing. And have we forgotten anything? No, I think it's time to look at some gameplay. Here we are on Cage, and we are actually top tier. It's a carrier battle. There's Shokaku, North Carolina, Gneisenau, Nelson, Colorado, Atlanta, and Shores. No destroyers in the enemy team. And it is a domination map battle, so well, we'll see what we can pull off here. But like I mentioned in the beginning when I started playing her, I didn't really have a great... I didn't really have a great time in the beginning, and it did take me quite a while to actually get to the point where I wanted to be. All right, so... I think the enemy team usually goes for C, so I don't really want to go to C. I want to take a more central position and lend some AA. I mean, I'm not great at AA, but I'm not terrible either. And I don't want to go over into C because C tends to kill you. York is very brave there. He probably wants to stay a little bit closer. Okay, there's something over at C, and I do actually have range at that. That's the Shores. Okay, so let's get some shots out at the Shores from the mains. Oh, Shores is on permafire. No, it's not on permafire. He's just on triple fire, but he's not damage conning until the torps. Yep, there goes the flood, and now he damage cons. Well done. I don't have the, like I mentioned, I don't have the master reloader skill, so I do not. It's still not doesn't matter that much when I trigger, but I usually trigger at around 9 seconds or so for the reload, and the base reload is pretty good. Like it's German levels of reload. Okay, let's see if we can dissuade the Atlanta from doing anything rush in the cap circle. Second salvo out, and yeah, with about 9 seconds without the master reloader skill, you actually do manage to get 2 salvos out. So that's good. Okay, there's the Nelson. Nelson poorly armored on top, I think. So let's see if we can do something about him. And we're doing AA duty as well. Nagato is rather brave to get into the capture circle. There's really no need. And yeah, there we go and hurt the Nelson. I'm not sure what this Nagato is doing. There's no need for him to push into the cap. The enemy isn't threatening him. Isn't threatening the cap. I mean, if the Atlanta goes anywhere near it, he's dead. And these two are just sailing around outside the capture circle. So not sure what he's trying to do. But that's another nice citadel on the Nelson. It's at this point that I spotted the lightning. And figure, oh well, you know, he's pushing, so let's boost up. Let's kick the engine boost in and see if we can exploit this, because they're all clustered around there. Obviously, they're not going C, but the Nelson has just been taken out by the Nagato, who, against my predictions, is still alive. So now we're just gonna go and brawl, because no one's shooting at me, and they'll all be busy shooting at the lightning once he's spotted. There come a bunch of torps. So I'm just gonna make use of that situation, and he seems to have gotten some hits in on the Gneisenau and shot his rudder off, or his engine. I think that was the engine. So yeah, let's go. Rapid reload on, and let's kill ourselves the Gneisenau. So and he's dead. Who's next? Colorado and North Carolina. Okay, and the carrier is coming in as well. So I can give a little bit of air cover, but yeah, not huge amounts. Like I'm not an AA cruiser or something. There you see the range of these secondaries, and you can actually easily get all your secondaries and your mains on target. And these 150mm secondaries are not bad. Like I said, you basically have a Galissoniere strapped on your onto your ship, more or less. I mean, not the same range, but okay. So they're deciding that they want to deal with the destroyer first. Okay, Colorado is dead if he's not turning, because he's going to run to all those stops. Is he turning? Is he turning? No, he's not. Alright, never mind. We'll shoot at the North Carolina then. And the carrier is still doing things to the lightning, and the lightning is probably dead, but I can't quite outmaneuver a North Carolina, I think, even though I am faster than him. But I think I'm too close already, so I can't do the crossy the T action that I would like to do, but I'm full health and he is not, and he's also getting shot at from the rear by another battleship. While I'm going to come under air attack. There's nothing I can do about this. Might as well just ignore it. But I want to unload everything I've got into North Carolina because that is just too much fun. Okay, I've got my damage con in case I need it, but no flood. So now double fire that I can damage con. We are similar on health, and yeah, this is a little awkward, but let me just kill you and let's get over with this. Okay, done. More planes coming in, and there's still Shokaku. But yeah, we've already racked up almost 100,000 damage on this thing. So, because this battle is a little bit on the short end, I'm just gonna have to deal with the Shokaku because he's literally the only ship remaining. The rest of the team has mopped up the rest. This is surprisingly a brawler, I would say. She doesn't obviously have the armor or the health to do this in a sustained manner. But if you can spot an opening, like I just did when the lightning was pushing through, and I figured either they have to start shooting at me, in which case the lightning can just go and torp people, or they start shooting at the lightning, in which case I can unload everything I have at close range onto these guys. These things hit extremely hard. They have, with the rapid reload and the fast reloading main guns, they actually hit pretty hard. And this is my experience on the Richelieu as well, and I do this occasionally. Just the initial positioning is different because you can't tank a position like you could in a Richelieu by just squeezing yourself next to an island and doing all these kind of things. You have to be a bit more traditional in the opening stages, but once you see an opening, you can fire up the engine boost and just go for it. So because that was a little bit short, let's actually do another one. Now here we are on Crash Zone in Domination, and it's a carrier battle, and we're bottom tier, and we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 legendary players against us, so we do have our work cut out for ourselves here. But there's only two tier 9s, Essex and the Benham on the enemy team. Everything else is tier 8. So let's go and do that. Double Bismarck. Now, don't get me wrong. You can brawl in this ship, but you can't do things like outbrawl a Bismarck or something, right? You're gonna have to pick your fights and make sure that you can actually compete with the ship that you're dealing with. So we are spawning in the center, and where are we gonna go? Let's see. Probably over to C Cup, to be honest, if Fletcher is coming along. So I'm gonna carefully position towards that because I do like to run the flanks in these ships. See if we can break through C. See what I did there? See what I did there? My kid would kill me if he heard that one. Dad jokes. But yeah, let's head over towards C Cup and fire up the engine boost. And with the engine boost active, and I don't have the engine overload skill quite yet, but she does 34 knots, which is really reasonably quick for a battleship. So I can almost keep up with the Fletcher. Fletcher doesn't seem to be quite convinced yet to head over to C, but I do have another battleship with me here. So and I do have plenty of island cover over in C Cup, so we do need to get behind solid cover, especially if you're being shot at by larger calibers, because again, armor is average at best. So yeah, okay, we're spotted. It's probably air spotted, or is it the Bismarck over there? Oh no, there's a destroyer in the cup actually. So let's open up at the Bismarck. Okay, Aki's in the cup, but I can get behind this island, and that should give me some protection from any torps that he might have launched early. And I'm almost in secondary range. I have actually played this ship with a secondary build, but at the end of the day, it's too situational, right? Where you really want to, you really need to sometimes play at long range, and the dispersion is just too bad. Let me put it this way. Okay, Aki smoked up, but he's screwed because there's Fletcher coming for him. He's already on half health, and I think at this point he's just given up. But yeah, let's just delete that one. And switch back to the armor piercing, because Bismarck and me have been looping around, and we have secured the flank on C, and we are holding A, but the center is reasonably reasonably endangered. So we do need to make sure that we're actually going to make use of this position we've gotten ourselves into. I can give some air cover to the Bismarck because he's probably going to go for Bismarck. Yeah, he's giving for Bismarck. But yeah, look at that. I definitely can punish North Carolina with the 380s. They are targeting Bismarck quite heavily, so they might have actually called him out as priority target. And I'm not sure what happened there. My shots just lagged away or something. I'm not sure what that was, but there we go. Never mind. Let's move forward, and we just want to keep. We've got them surrounded. I mean, look at this, right? They've captured B, but they're not pushing through B, and we've got them surrounded, and we've got them in a crossfire, which means the North Carolina and needs to now deal with me, Fletcher, Bismarck, and the carrier. And Bismarck and Vladi are shooting at me from long range. The thing is, I'm in a French battleship. I'm quick, and I'm reasonably well able to dodge some shots like these from the North Cal just by slowing down. And now they're targeting the Bismarck again, which means I can there come those. But they're not focusing their fire at this point. They're now that Vladivostok's targeting me, but yeah, they've been pulled apart. And look at the other destroyer coming in from the other side, threatening the carrier and all these kind of fun things. So yeah, I think I've just seen a flood there. That might have been from the carrier, but yeah, I can do some fun things here now, and just unload on these guys at long range. And this is why I want the dispersion mod, so I can actually get shots on target at range. Now they are focusing me quite heavily, which means I do want to move away. There's an island in the way, but that's okay. We're in 7,000 health. Now we do unfortunately have to give a little bit aside, but we're hurting the Vladi back as good as we're getting. Okay, Vladi taken out. We've got 3,000 hit points left, but heals coming off cooldown quickly, and Bismarck can't hit a broadside from a barn at this range. So, and plus he's running into all the torps probably, so he's got other problems, which means I'm probably fine, but regardless, let's heal up. So yeah, this is why I'm running the dispersion mod in slot 1 instead of the secondary build. It is interesting, but it requires specific situations to work. And yeah, Bismarck has just found out that he's sandwiched between two destroyers, and the Kagro is just going to blap him in the face. There he goes. Well done, Kagro. And that only leaves one battleship and one destroyer left. Since we've killed the Aki, that's going to be the Benham. So yeah, I think this is a really, really fun ship for these kind of moves. It can brawl if it's like a one-on-one. You can't brawl into multiple enemy targets. But no, to be honest, you can't do that with German battleships either if you're getting focused. You don't position the same way as you do in Richelieu. Like where you're close to islands, and for the first half of the battle you're playing more statically. But this ship is capable of exploiting situations and exploiting openings in the enemy formation and drawing fire and doing these kind of things very, 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 very well. Now it looks like the Benham has taken out our carrier. I mean, it's not going to. Yeah, there we go. Slightly delayed, but that's not going to win him the game, obviously, because it's 1 against 5, and we are so far ahead on points, and he's got 1 minute left, so that game is definitely over. But yeah, this is a good ship, and I am very much enjoying this ship. So surprisingly good secondaries, and just in general, overall, a fun ship to play, I'd say. She can be played aggressively. She is fast. She can relocate into positions where she needs to be. Yeah, Benham is just spewing all his torpedoes, but Kagro actually takes him out, and he probably just wanted to end the game and get back to port. Well played, Kagro. And these openings were and drawing fire were exactly the way we wanted things to happen. And yeah, this is a good ship. I like this ship. And yeah, commiserations to the Benham, 81,000 points of damage, but there's only so much you can do. So is the tier 8 worth it? Is the grind to tier 8 worth it? Absolutely, in my opinion. This is a tier 8 ship that I'm going to enjoy, so I'm very much looking forward to getting to that. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye.